Hey folks, welcome back. In this video, we're going to use the two brushes that we created and we're going to talk about our first volumetric shape. And each video is going to be a separate volumetric shape just to keep these things short and sweet and also actionable so that you can practice them. So a grid is different than creating a line. A line has no dimension. It's basically infinite in both directions, and there's no real easy way that you can place an object along this implied surface. Whereas a grid is an explicit surface. You can see it, and you can certainly put objects in areas that will imply that something is closest to you or a little bit further away or much further away. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how do you actually create this grid. And we're going to look at it in its most basic form. And in later videos, we'll take a look at ways that you can use this grid to create things like walls, roads, building tops, you name it. It's actually pretty cool. So let's start off by just using that pencil brush that we created in the previous video. And if you haven't watched it, if this is your first video, go back and watch the previous one. I think it'll help you out. We're going to hold down the Shift key and create a horizontal line. Next, what we'll do is we'll do the same thing. We'll create another horizontal line. And this horizontal line will be noticeably larger or wider than the first line that we've created. And the reason for that is we're going to essentially create what is going to be referred to as a trapezoidal shape. This shape looks like a trapezoid. And we're going to add some lines to this, and I'm going to show you specifically how to do that, because it's not just placing lines in an arbitrary fashion. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to use a concept called a midpoint. And a midpoint refers to, if you have a line segment, let's just say that we have a line that has A and B. The midpoint is the center. We'll call that C. And what we're doing here is we're not using rulers, we're eyeballing it. The more you draw, the more you practice this, the better you will be able to intuitively find the midpoint. I've been doing this for some time and I can eyeball things pretty well to find midpoints. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find a midpoint for this top segment. And then usually if in this 1-point perspective grid, I can just simply extend this all the way down to get the midpoint for the bottom grid. And what we're going to do next is we're going to find the midpoint between this corner and the center, which is roughly here. And we're going to now find another midpoint between this corner and this center. So that is going to look something like this. Notice that this midpoint is not directly underneath the first midpoint line that we created, the first tick mark. And that's what we're looking for, because essentially what this is going to do is it's going to, all of the lines that we're creating in this vertical orientation will eventually converge to one point. That's really important. So setting this up allows us to create something that will have 1-point perspective. Let's repeat the same thing for the opposite side. We're going to find the midpoint, find the next midpoint, and then just simply draw. And when I'm drawing, I'm using my entire arm. I'm not using my wrist. You want to ideally have a surface that is fairly large to work from. I always advocate larger sized tablets as opposed to really small ones, but you work with what you got. But with the smaller devices, you're more inclined to using your wrist because there's not as much area to move around in. So finding something that is at a comfortable size that allows you to have that range of motion with your arm, I think is very, very important. So we've got these lines here. Let's now find the midpoint between the two edges. We'll connect those, repeat that same process, and now we have our grid. Now this grid is a surface, and where I'm going with this is we can place objects that are on the surface. For example, something like a sphere, and we can also have a cylindrical shape. And this grid is helping us understand that the sphere is in front of the cylinder. It is closer to the viewer. And we can ascertain that based upon the fact that this grid is implying that there is a space between those two elements. If we just had a line and we drew these objects in there, it may not be super obvious. And when we're drawing our objects, we may not necessarily have the objects all resting on the same surface, because it's kind of difficult to know where to accurately place your objects on. So that's why this particular grid is the first shape that we're starting out with, because it's where all of our other volumetric shapes will be drawn upon. And we can use this when we're creating environments or placing people and objects on some type of a surface. Super, super important. There's a lot of times where I'll see drawings where a student will create a really cool character, and this character is basically just floating out there with no environment. They're just kind of there. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that if you're trying to create some kind of a narrative or trying to make this look more interesting, I think it's always better to have some type of, environmental surface. And if you have a grid, then you can say, all right, well, here's a rock. Maybe there's some mountains in the background. Maybe there's a tree. And it becomes much easier to place these elements in a believable way, to where your audience will then understand something is closer to the viewer and something is much further away. So this grid is really, really super powerful. We can expand on this grid just before we leave here. We can draw a vertical grid, and we can repeat that same process. I've drawn two vertical lines. I can find the midpoint for the first line segment, find the midpoint for the second line segment. You can see that they're offset because this line is larger or taller than the other line. So we can simply connect those two. And then we can just extend these other lines that we've already got. And now we have a wall. And we can use this for creating things like doors or windows or anything else. So if you are not comfortable with drawing environments or interiors, understanding this grid can be very helpful. It's basically serving as an underdrawing for creating objects that are going to rest upon it. So in the next video, we'll take a look at another volumetric shape, and we'll go through each of these volumetric shapes. And then my goal here is to then create another set of videos on how to shade each of these objects. So stick around. I think that if you're new to drawing, or if you're a little bit rusty and you want to get back on the digital drawing bandwagon, hopefully these videos will be of help. And if you found some value in today's video, please consider giving it a thumbs up so that other folks can find it. Appreciate all of the subscribers, and thank you for sharing the videos far and wide with your friends. I really do appreciate that, and we'll see you in the next video. See ya.